this process, we make transition between states to move from the starting state to the goal state. Okay, so the example would be like what is a search space and all. Okay, so do you know tic-tac-toe? Tic-tac-toe game. Muhammad Ismail. Tic-tac-toe game தெரியுமாமா? தெரியாதா? ஸோ டிக்டாக்டோங்கிறது ஒரு சின்ன கேம். அந்த குட்டி பசங்கெல்லாம் விளையாடுவாங்க. அதுல வந்து ஒரு 3x3 மேட்ரிக்ஸ் தான் இருக்கும் ஆக்சுவலா. ரெண்டு பிளேயர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க. சரியா? ஒவ்வொரு பிளேயர்ஸ்க்கும் 3 காயின் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. இப்ப வந்து இப்ப ஒரு ஆளுக்கு எக்ஸ் இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். அந்த எக்ஸ் வந்து ஹரிசாண்டலாவோ வெர்டிகலாவோ டயகனலாவோ 3 கான்சிக்யூட்டிவ் எக்ஸஸ் வச்சுட்டாங்க அப்படின்னா அவங்க வின்னர். இப்ப ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிளேயர் இங்க வைக்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா செகண்ட் பிளேயர் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஓகே இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டேஷ் வச்சுப்போம். ஸோ இது அவங்களோட காயின் சிம்பிள்னா இப்ப இங்க வச்சாங்கன்னா அடுத்த காயின் வந்து இப்படி வைக்கலாம் எக்ஸ். ஏன்னா அவங்களுக்கு ஸ்டில் இங்க வந்து போனா 3 காயினையும் வச்சுட்டாங்கன்னா அவங்க வின் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. அப்ப செகண்டா உள்ள ஆள் என்ன பண்ணணும்? இங்க வைக்க விடாம தடுக்கணும். சரிதானா? அப்ப இப்ப இந்த கேம் விளையாடுற ஆளு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆளு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னா இப்ப ஆல்ரெடி டயகனலா 2 ஹைஃபன் வந்து ஃபார்ம் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ அப்ப இங்க 3வது ஆளை வைக்க விட்டுட்டாங்கன்னா இந்த செகண்ட் பிளேயர் வந்து வின் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? அவங்க இங்க வைப்பாங்க. புரியுதா இல்லையா? கேம் புரியுதாமா? ஓகே ஓகே. ஸோ அப்ப இதுல வந்து ஸ்டேட் அப்படின்றது என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பாத்தீங்கன்னா இனிஷியலா எம்டி போர்டு இருக்கும் இல்லையா, அது ஒரு ஸ்டேட். அப்புறம் ஒரே ஒரு காயின் மட்டும் வச்சிருக்கிறது இன்னொரு ஸ்டேட். அப்ப நம்மளோட கோல் ஸ்டேட் என்ன? இந்த பிளேயருக்கு 3 எக்ஸ் ஒரே லைன்ல ஃபார்ம் ஆகக்கூடிய என்னென்ன காம்பினேஷன்ல இருக்கும், அதாவது இந்த லைன்ல ஃபார்ம் ஆகலாம், இந்த லைன்ல ஃபார்ம் ஆகலாம், அந்த டயகனல்ல ஃபார்ம் ஆகலாம், அத்தனை கோல் ஸ்டேட் இருக்கும். சரியா? சோ அப்ப ஒரு ஸ்டார்டிங் ஸ்டேட்ல, அதாவது எம்டி போர்ட்ல இருந்து ஒன் ஆஃப் த கோல் ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு நமக்கு வந்து டைரக்ட் பண்ணி கொண்டு போகணும். ஸோ அப்ப இருக்கிற காயின் பொசிஷன் நம்ம வைக்க அந்த டிரான்சிஷன் வந்து நமக்கு நடக்கும். ஸோ என்ன மாதிரி டிரான்சிஷன் நடந்தா நம்ம ஸ்டார்டிங் ஸ்டேட் டு எண்ட் ஸ்டேட் போலாங்கிறது தான் அது. ஸோ இதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா யூஸ்வலா இந்த கம்ப்யூட்டர் கேம்ல ஒன்னு வந்து ஒரு ஹியூமன் பீயிங்கா இருப்பாங்க, இன்னொரு பிளேயர் வந்து சிஸ்டமா இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி டைம்ல வந்து அந்த காயினை அது எப்படி பிளேஸ் பண்ணணும், ஒரு ஹியூமன் ஒரு காயினை வைக்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா கம்ப்யூட்டர் அதுக்கு எப்படி ரியாக்ட் பண்ணணுங்கிறது வந்து இந்த சர்ச்சிங் மெத்தட்ல தான் எடுப்பாங்க. ஓகேவா? ஸோ அந்த ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்டேட்டுக்கா நம்ம டிரான்ஸ்லெட் பண்றப்ப அதை இன்டர்மீடியட் ஸ்டேட்னு சொல்லுவோம். அதாவது ஸ்டார்ட் ஸ்டேட்டுக்கும் கோல் ஸ்டேட்டுக்கும் இடையில நம்ம டிரான்சிட் ஆகிற states எல்லாமே intermediate states. Okay, so what is a state? A potential outcome of a process, okay, or a problem. And transition, the act of moving between the states. Okay, and what is a starting state? Where we start the search from. An intermediate state, it is the states between the starting state and the goal state. Okay, and what is a goal state? This is the state where we stop searching. Okay, then we have reached our goal. And what is a search space? A collection of all states together is called a search space. Okay, so when you have such a problem, okay, there are two categories of search. One is the uninformed search. Okay, the other is the informed search. In uninformed search, okay, there is no information about the cost of navigation between the states. Okay, so to move from one state to another state, we can assume that it is kind of a uniform cost. Okay, which is okay for toy problems, but this kind of search is not suitable when certain movement should not be taken. Okay, take for example, you are trying to find the bombs in a place. Okay, and you are allowing a robot to do this. Okay, so the robot should not put its leg on the bomb or something like that. Okay, so that action is a, if the robo is on top of the bomb, that move costs so much, because the assume that the bomb will blast. Okay, so such navigation has to be penalized. Okay, if at all it attempts to do that, it has to be heavily penalized, so that we minimize the loss. Okay, so in that case, the cost of transiting between the states is a must. Okay, whereas like toy problems, what we have, okay, even if we lose something, that is okay. Okay, so rarely when you play games with computer, the computer also will lose. Okay, so that is okay. Okay, so in such cases, we can go for this uninformed search. Okay, so there are three classical algorithms for this. One is the depth first search. Okay, the other is the breadth first search, and then we have the iterative deepening depth first search. இது படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா இஸ்மாயில்? Depth first search. நீ இருந்த ஒரு ஆளும் போயாச்சா? Okay, there are two of you now. Okay. So Sethuram. Sethuram.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Depth first search படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா already?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay.
ML வருது இந்த டைம் தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் மேம் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல.
Okay. So this depth first search has nothing to do with actually AI. It is a standard data structure algorithm. Okay, we are not modifying anything in the algorithm. If you have learned depth first search in data structures, this should be fine. Okay, so let's discuss the procedure, and then we will go to an example so that you can understand. Okay, so the input to the depth first search is a graph. Okay, and the starting vertex, okay, will act as the root of the graph. Okay, so we choose one of the vertex, okay, to act as the starting state. Okay, so like a tic-tac-toe game, the empty board will be the starting state. Okay, and the output will be a goal state. Okay, so the procedure is like this. Okay, you call the DFS with the graph and the starting state. Okay, and you are going to use a stack S. Okay, and you are going to push the starting state into the stack, and you are going to loop now. Okay, so while S is not empty, okay, you are going to repeat this process. You are going to pop the element. Okay, so we have at least one element pushed into this stack, so we will pop that element. Okay, and so assume that all the vertices of the, what is a graph, first of all?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you know what is a graph?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so it has a node and vertices. Okay, vertices and edges, right? So assume that all the vertices are labeled as not discovered or not visited. Okay, so to start with, all the vertices are marked with not visited or not discovered. Okay, but if B is not labeled as discovered, then what you're going to say, you are going to say that it is discovered now. Okay, and if V is the goal state, then we are happy and we have finished our searching. Okay, if not, we are going to push all the edges from V to W. And what is W? W belongs to all the adjacent edges or adjacent vertices of V, okay, which are connected by edges. That is, V and W are directly connected, okay, and such vertices we just push into the stack. Okay, so this is how we keep searching our goal. Okay, so let's take an example. What is this? What is this data structure? Have you seen it before? Anything like this?
Tree structure, ma'am. Same.
Trees.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Who said that?
Sedram, ma'am.
Sedram, great Sedram. It is of course a tree structure, but you can interpret this as also as graph. Okay, because I didn't direct. I mean, it is okay, right? I mean, tree is also a graph, but not all graphs are trees.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah,
Understood.
yeah. So this can be interpreted as a graph as well. Okay, so we will assume that we are going to start our search from 1. Okay, and using the depth first search. Okay, and why we call this algorithm as depth first search will be clear when we discuss this example. Okay, so we are going to use a stack. So I'll push the starting state into the stack. Okay, and so now the stack is not empty, so the while loop is like while the stack is not empty, we are going to process this, right? So I take out the element from the stack, okay, in V, okay, and this is the element that, so I'm checking whether this element is not discovered or not. Okay, so to start with, all the elements are not discovered, so I'll say that it is discovered. Okay, discovered is something like it is an action that we wanted to do. Okay, so in this case I will perform display action, so I'll display 1. Okay, so after that what should I do? I have to find out all the adjacent nodes of 1 and push it into the stack. Okay, what are the adjacent nodes of 1?
2, 3, and 4, ma'am.
2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we have to push 2, 3, and 4 into the stack. Okay, so with this, the processing of 1 is over. So we'll go back to the while loop, and while loop testing condition is while the stack is not empty. Okay, the stack is not empty, so we'll process. Which is the next element to process?
2, ma'am.
This is a stack.
So last and first at 4.
4, right? So because you have pushed in 2 first, then 3,
And then
and then 4. The latest element that you have pushed is 4. Okay, so you'll process 4. Okay, so now 4 is also not discovered. Now only you are discovering it. So we are displaying 4. Okay, and then we have to identify the adjacent elements of 4 and push it into the stack. Okay, so we'll push 7 and 8, right? And the next element that we will be processing is 8,
8.
right or not? Okay, so when you process this, so you mark it as discovered, and that's why you are displaying it, and now you are looking for any adjacent node of 8 which is not discovered. Okay, so let me add that. See, but to 8, 4 is 4 is an adjacent node. Okay, but it is already discovered. Okay, that's why we are keeping that label whether it is discovered or not. Okay, so we are actually trying to discover the adjacent nodes which are not discovered. Okay, so it has nothing as a neighbor which is not discovered. So we will end the processing of 8. Okay, and now the next element will be, I mean, when you finish this processing, the top of the stack is 7, right? So you
Yes.
will pop the 7 and repeat this process. So when you display 7, and then you push 11 and 12. Okay, and then you will process 12 no children, no children, or
Yes.
no undiscovered elements. Okay, you will process 11. Okay, and then so finally when you are here after processing 11, you are going to go to 3, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't have any
Adjacent sides.
undiscovered neighbors. Okay, now when you take out 2, okay, the stack is actually empty, but now only we have taken 2 out. Okay, and now you have undiscovered neighbors, so you will push them. Okay, and then you'll process 6, 5, and so on. Right? So now, if you look at the order in which we have processed the nodes, okay, I processed this first and I took this path, right, deeper. And then I traversed deeper here. And then I traversed deeper here. I mean, we don't go till 4, but you can see that 1, 4, 8, then 7, 12, then 11, and then we go to 3, then we go to 2, 6, and then 5, 10, and 9. Okay, so you can see that when I take a child, I go deeper till I reach a leaf kind of thing or a dead end. Okay, so that's why it is called depth first. Okay, I'm going deeper rather than processing 2, 3, 4 in the breadth wise. Okay, we are processing till the depth. Okay, so that's why it's called the breadth first search. Okay, can you quickly work out this? Any doubt why it is called a depth first search and how it is connected to our transition? I mean, how it is related to the AI search? See, this is typical data structure search. Okay, so when you have the search space, okay, you will have the starting state, okay, which is the empty board of the tic-tac-toe as the state 1. Okay, and you have 9 positions wherein the first player can place the key. Okay, so adjacent to the empty board, you will have 9 states. Okay, wherein each of the position can get 1 coin. Okay, so that will be the first row. Okay, or the first level. Okay, and the next level, so you will get the number of ways bigger and bigger, right? So the second player can choose, it reduces actually. For the first player, he has 9 different positions to place his coin. The next player, second player, will get 8 different positions to place the coin and so on. Right or not? And finally, we start from our goal is always, what does the computer do? Do you get what I say? Are you following it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in tic-tac-toe game, isn't it, Sedaram? நம்ம காயின் வச்சு விளையாடுவோம்ல
Yes,
கம்ப்யூட்டர்
ma'am.
டிக்டாக்டோ கேம். ஓகேவா?
Yes, ma'am.
அதுல வந்து உங்களுக்கு 9 பொசிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஓகே, 3x3 மேட்ரிக்ஸ். அதுல 9 பொசிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு. அப்ப இது எம்டி போர்டு வந்து ஸ்டார்டிங் ஸ்டேட். அப்ப இதுதான் வந்து நம்ம நோட் 1 மாதிரி இப்படி இருக்கும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லெவல்ல எப்படி இருக்கும்? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிளேயர் can place any one, coin in any one of the 9 states. Okay, so this is one state. The other will be like in the second position and so on. Okay, so this will be the level 1. Okay, so suppose if the player has placed the key in this position, the computer will look for, so this is the path that computer will try to follow. Okay, so the player has placed the key here, coin here. So the next state, the computer should place the keys in any one of these 3 adjacent things, so that he will not proceed further. Right or not? Okay, so closer to this will be the next state will be, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Although there are 8 different positions, the rules of the game will allow, will make the other player not to play. or make him lose, right? So the computer will choose any one of these, placing the coins in any one of these three locations. Okay, so this is how the state space expand. Okay, and whenever a player is moving a coin, the computer will follow from the root where that particular state is and choose one of its adjacent state for transition. Okay, so can you please work out this quickly and tell me what is the answer? Anyone trying or not?
Trying, ma'am.
Okay.
மேம் இப்போ ஸ்டாக்ல வந்து பிஏ செகண்ட் டைம் ஸ்டோர் பண்ணலாமாங்க மேம் இல்லை ஒன் டைம் தான் ஸ்டோர் ஆகுமாங்க மேம்?
Only one time. So that is the advantage of this, this solution. Okay, we visit exactly one time to the nodes.
ஓகே மேம்.
அது மட்டும் இல்ல, இப்ப இதுல ஒரு சிங்கிள் சொல்யூஷன் தான் இருக்கான்னு கேட்டா இல்ல. இப்ப 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 ஏவோட இப்ப லெட்ஸ் சே வி ஆர் ஸ்டார்டிங் ஃப்ரம் ஏ. ஓகே, இப்ப இதுல விசிட் வந்து நான் அட்ஜசன்ட் ஆஃப் ஏ அப்படின்னு எடுக்கிறப்ப ஐ வில் கெட் பிசிஇ, right? These three nodes will be acting as the adjacent. Okay, but what is the order in which I will push into the stack? Okay, that can be any order. I can push B first and then C and then E. So the top of the stack will be E then. Okay, but if I choose to push E, C, B, then the top of the stack will be B. Okay, it depends. Anyway is right, but whatever way you choose, the way you visit the nodes might be different, but you will visit the node exactly once.
Okay.
Okay, so one possible solution is this one, assuming that we push from the left to right. Okay, so we visit A first or discover A first, and then we push B, C, E. The top of the stack is E. We pop this one. So next node that is discovered is E. And then we find the adjacent of E, which is F. Okay, so this will be pushed into the stack. And since this is the top of the stack, we will take out this. Okay, and when we find the adjacent of F, okay, see, I think there is a small mistake in the, or as soon as we get the adjacent nodes, we have to say that it is discovered, right? So otherwise, that's why you were asking, right, whether B will be pushed again or not. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this case, there are two solutions. Okay, one is that if we don't mark this node already as discovered, what we can do is that we can push it once again, okay, to the stack. Okay, and F will push B into the stack, and this is the only adjacent node, right? So again, we will pop B, and now B is marked as discovered, right? So you will display B. Now you are finding the adjacent nodes of B which are not discovered. So A is already discovered, now D is discovered. So you will, sorry, now D is the adjacent of B, so you will push the node D. Okay, so and And since D is the top of the stack, you will pop it and there is no adjacent node for D. Okay, now you go back here, okay, because after processing E, the top will be C. Okay, so now you will pop C and you will push G and then you will pop G. So you'll get this. And finally, in the stack, you will have B. Right or not? Okay, so
Yes,
while
ma'am.
you pop it, okay, we have the condition if the node is not discovered, then only we process. Otherwise, we discard. Do you get it?
Yes, we got it, ma'am.
Yeah, so it can be pushed more than once, but it will be processed only if it is not discovered. Otherwise, you will not process this. This entire step will be skipped. Okay, after popping, that's why we are checking it out. Okay. And I should say edges which are not discovered. Okay, I'll change this. And okay, so I hope this is clear.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear now, ma'am.
Okay. So let's okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, so this is the breadth first search. Okay, so here also the procedure is very similar, but instead of a stack, we are going to use a queue. Okay, so this is a first in first out data structure. Okay, otherwise it is all very similar. Okay, we have a graph and we start with a starting state. Okay, and let Q be the Q and we will, mark it as discovered. Okay, assuming that all other items are not discovered to start with, we'll mark it with discovered. And we will, queue this in the queue, NQ the starting state. Okay, and the condition is, we have a loop which will loop while the queue is not empty. We just dequeue the element. If it is goal, then we are happy about it. If not, for all the edges which are not discovered again. Okay. So if W is not labeled as discovered, then we label W as discovered and then NQ it. Okay, so this is how we do it. Okay. So let's consider this example. Same thing. Okay, so here to start with, we will start with 1. Okay, and in Q data structure, you have 2 pointers. Assume, okay, so this is the, you have the front and rear, right? Using the front, you dequeue the thing, and using the rear, you add the thing. Okay, so this is going to act as the rear pointer and this is going to act as the front pointer. Okay, so the empty stack, in an empty stack, both will point to the same location. Say for example, there are many ways you can implement the queue, and depending on the implementation, the condition for the empty queue might vary. Okay, so let's take a very simple case wherein if the front pointer and the rear pointer are the same, it is empty. Okay, so now we say 1 is discovered. Okay, and I push it into the stack. Okay, and I just take it out. Okay, and then I just take the adjacent elements of 1 and push it into the queue. Okay, and now the next element that will be So sorry, this should be the, I think there is a mistake here. Okay, this pointer has to be here. Okay, so this pointer, the brown pointer should be pointing to the empty state after pushing this 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is a mistake. So after pushing, you will come to the end of the while loop. You will go up. The queue is not empty, so you'll dequeue 2. Okay, and then you will look for the adjacent elements of 2, which are 5 and 6. Okay, so you will push them or enqueue them, and the next element that you will be processing is 3, and you will look for the adjacent elements of 3, and there are no adjacent elements, so you just move with the next element. So 4, okay, I'm displaying 4, and you will enqueue the adjacent elements, which are 7 and 8. Okay, and then the next element to process will be 5, right? And you are displaying 5, and you are looking for the adjacent elements of 5, which are 9 and 10. Okay, and similarly you will go. Okay, so I mean it's very similar to what we have seen, but instead of the deepening, here what we see, this is the sequence in which we visit the nodes here. Okay, so if you look at the elements, okay, so first we processed 1. Okay, then this level I have processed 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, and then I process 7, 8, right? And then 9, 10, and 11, 12. Okay, so in depth first we go deeper. Okay, in breadth first we go breadth-wise. Sorry for the mistake again. This is not depth first, this is breadth first. Okay, this is the problem with copy paste. Okay, so I used the same slide to prepare both. I forgot to change the title of the slide. Okay, but if you look at, if you compare these two things, okay, can you, do you feel any difference? I mean, can you say the plus and minus of these things? Anyone?
மேம் டெப்த்ல வந்து ஒரு அட்ஜசன்ட் செட் இருக்குது, அது கம்ப்ளீட்டா டிஸ்கவர் ஆனதோட தான் இன்னொன்னுக்கு போகுது மேம். பட் ஆனால் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட்ல வந்து ஒவ்வொரு லெவலா போகும்போது கொஞ்சம் குயிக்கா அனலைசேஷன் முடியும்னு நினைக்கிறேங்க மேம்.
குயிக்கா முடியலாம், கண்டிப்பா. அது டிபெண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் த சிச்சுவேஷன். ஏன்னா நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி rather than sticking on to a single path, நம்ம அந்த பாத்லயே டீப்பரா போறதுக்கு இது கொஞ்சம் breakfast searchல it is better, right? Because we are giving chances to different varieties of solution in the beginning. Okay, so this is a good point, very good point. இன்னொரு இது பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, but what is the drawback of this? It occupies more space. If you see the queue, the number of elements you have stored, because when you go with depth first search, we just push the adjacent elements, and quickly, if we reach the depth quickly, we evacuate the elements on the path, and then the space that we utilized is very much less compared to the number of elements that could be stored at a time. When you compare the stack and queue, the number of elements that will be stored in the queue will be much, I mean, is at least greater than the elements that we are trying to store in the stack. Okay, so in stack it would come and go quickly, but here, since see I will push this 5, then I'm processing 2, but when can I enqueue this 5 and 6 when I process 2, but when can I dequeue them? After processing 3 and 4 only. Okay, so till then it has to be in the queue. Okay, so the space for the queue required might be large. Okay, so that is the drawback of breadth first search. Okay, so you can quickly work out this, but do you understand the problem? You understood the solution, right? Any doubt in this?
The diagram is very small, ma'am.
Any doubt? Okay, so this is example in wiki only. You can just go and search for it and find. And this is a tree. It's quickly we can do that. Okay, so we start from this one, and these are the adjacent. No, this is not adjacent. Okay, these three are adjacent, right? And then again we start with this one to this. This is the adjacent one. Okay, and to this we have two of them. Okay, and for this we have this one. Okay, and then we start with the processing of this one. Oh, this we have already processed. Then we process with this one, right? So to this will be the adjacent one. And we will come here, we will end here, and to this we have this one also adjacent, this one is also adjacent. Okay, so when we come here, this is already discovered. Okay, so you will get a tree like this. Okay, so this is the first one, to which you have three children. Okay, and you will process this, so you will discover this. Okay, and then when you process, you will discover these two of them. Okay, which is here. Okay, and then you will process this. Okay, and you will discover this. Okay, and now when you come, so you will process this, which is the adjacent of this node. Okay, and then you will go here, which doesn't have anything, and this one adjacent node is this one. This is already discovered. Okay, okay, so we'll see the last. So any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we'll see the you in the uninformed search. Okay, so this is the last search. Okay, so it is iterative deepening depth first search. Okay, so it is clearly the depth first search, but what we are going to do is that we are going to have a limit on the depth. So depth limited version. Okay, which will be run incrementally, increasing the depth of the tree. Okay, so mainly this is used when the search space is infinite. Okay, சேத்து நீங்க சொன்னதுதான் ரீசன். இப்போ ஒரு நோடுல நம்ம இது பண்ணிட்டோம்னா we dig deeper. Okay, and but the solution might be in the other path. If I choose a wrong path to go deeper and deeper, I will not find the solution because the search space is infinite. Okay, so we wanted to give equal opportunity for all the paths. Okay, so that is so it is going to combine the merit of depth first search as well as the breadth first search. Okay, so what you can think is, okay, so that is, so why the depth first search and breadth first search will fail in the case of infinite search space. Depth first search, because it will not end, because it is going on and on with just one path. Okay, so that is the drawback, and it may not find the shortest path also. Okay, why will be very clear when you see the algorithm. Okay, and breadth first search consumes too much of memory. Okay, because it has to store all the elements of the level. Okay, and if you take a binary tree, okay, if you take the leaves, if you take the level of the leaves, okay, so it would contain n by 2 elements. If the total number of elements in the tree is n, okay, n by 2 elements will be in the leaf. Okay, so you can think of the amount of storage that would be required. Okay, so we are going to combine the merit of these two things, and that thus we have developed this one. Okay, so let me not go in detail into this algorithm. We'll come back and see. It's a simple thing, but I think it is better to go over the example first and then look at the code. Okay, so we are going to, so depth is like depth of a tree is the root of the node is at the depth of 0. This is 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, and here we are going to start with A and we are trying to find R. Okay, so this iterative deepening search, what it is going to do is that if we start with the depth 0, okay, I'll process only this. Okay, in the next thing, if I say depth 1, forget about all the trees that are below this one. Okay, assume that the tree has only A, B, C, D. And if this is the tree, how you will process the node using so the tree ends here. Okay, so assuming that the tree ends here, you have to apply the depth first search. Okay, if the solution is not found here, you will increase the depth by 1. So the tree now will become from here to here. Okay, A to H. Okay, and incrementally you will do, and finally you will discover. Okay, unfortunately here we have marked the goal in the depth 4. Okay, suppose if the goal is at depth 2, okay, we would not even have processed this one. Okay, so what is the merit? Okay, so I will process like this. Okay, I mean, let me clear this. Okay, so suppose if our search is like this, okay, with depth 2, okay, how are we going to process? We will be digging deeper and deeper, right? So I would process like A, D, H or this path, any path. Okay, so if you push the elements in the reverse order, I would process like A, B, E and then F, okay, and then C, G and then D, H. Okay, so now when you process it like this, the amount of memory that I would require might be less, will be less, not might be, will be less, but at the same time I'm giving opportunity for all the 3 nodes. Okay, but otherwise if I use a simple depth first search, I would exploit this path first and then I'll go with this and then with this, then only I will visit C. Now I'm giving opportunity for all the 3 paths from A. Do you admire this one? How we are able to give the opportunity using the depth first, as well as we are reducing the memory requirement using, sorry, we are exploiting the merit of giving all the paths using the breadth first search. The amount of memory being used is less because we are following the depth first search. Do you agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is how we do. Okay, so with depth 0, we just process A, and then with depth 1, we process A, B, C, D, and then with depth 2, I process A, B, E, and then F, and then we process C, G, okay, and then we process D, H, and so on. Okay, so now let's go back and look at the algorithm. Okay, so now what we have here is, so this is the, so it's written in recursive fashion. So this is where we are going to increase the depth from 0 to infinity. Okay, and every time we are going to call the depth first search. Okay, we are always calling with the root. Okay, from where we start the search with the new depth. Okay, and it is assumed that it is returning two things. Okay, if it is found, then we have met the goal. And if the node that you are considering, okay, has any children, this will be true. Okay, the remaining will be true. That means that we have to still continue this one. So if it is found, if it is not equal to null, then we have found. Okay, then we can stop it. We can return the goal state. Okay, and if it is, I mean, if remaining okay, if it is not remaining, that means that if there is no other node to process, then also we can say we do not find the goal. Okay, and we can stop the procedure. Okay, so this is the main driver which will run for 0 to infinity times. Okay, and here we come, so we initially we call this with no root. Okay, and depth is 0. If depth is 0, then we check whether the node under consideration is a goal. Then we are happy. We return the goal and it might have children. We are not bothered about it, but still we return true. Okay, so when you come here, we have found the remaining is true. Okay, so we will just return it here, right? Otherwise, I didn't find the goal, but it might have children. Okay, so in that case, it will come here, it will say, okay, while it is not remaining, so this will become false. So I'll just go back to the for loop, increment the depth by 1. Okay, and I'll call this again with root and depth 1 now. Can you follow this? Since you have passed null and true, you started with the root. Root is not a goal. Then you are returning null and true. That means that you haven't found the goal and the root might have children. Okay, so here you found will be having null and this remaining has true. Okay, so since this is null, this condition will not be true. It will come here and not of true will be false. So this will also fail. Okay, so you go back to the for loop and you will increment the depth by 1. Okay, and you are going to call the same depth first search again with root. This is depth limited search. Okay, so this is a root, the same starting state. Okay, and you are going to increase the depth by 1. Okay, so when the depth is greater than 0, okay, what you are going to do, any remaining is, it's a flag which is set to false. Okay, and you are saying for each child of the node under consideration, you are going to call this again. Okay, so this is where you are going to repeat the depth first search. Okay, and the same procedure. Okay, and finally if you are met with a goal, you are happy. Otherwise you say might be that something is remaining. Okay, and you will return if you don't find the goal and something might remain. Okay, and so this will get repeated for each node. Okay, so this will give the facility to go in the breadthwise. Okay, and this recursion helps you to go deeper. Okay, when you go deeper, you reduce the depth by 1. Okay, so that you will consider the child as the root node. The subtree will be considered as the root node. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So this is all I have to say for today. Okay, but don't worry too much about this code. As long as you understood this one. Okay, I mean with depth 0, I just visit A. With depth 1, my tree will be simply this one. Okay, only this much is the tree. With depth search 1, and the tree will be extended from A to H when the depth of the search is 2 and so on. That's all. Okay. Yeah, thank you for your patience. And I think the strength is going very thin day by day. Anyway, thank you. Good night.